Rob has risen. You were a ghost, and now you are a man.
The kingdom of Rob is upon you.
Welcome,
Mrs.
back
Peacock.
to Earth, back to life, back to life.
I gotta tell you, Jason, between Temple of Doom and Clue, I got a lot of chilled monkeys' brains in my movies. You know what I mean? Like, it was a good ride there. Like, good 2-year ride.
That's Making Star Wars Show. I'm Jason Ward. That's Rob. He draws Spawn. Spawn Rob, in case you don't know.
I draw Spawn. I gotta tell you, man. I know some people out there are like, I don't really want. I know I'm not here to fulfill your childhood dreams.
Doesn't matter.
But like, I mean, sitting right next to me is the first 150 issues of Spawn, Jason. Like, this is the one I'm in.
Yeah,
this is the one I'm in. Like, I wrote into the news columns. Like, this is absolute. I know, it's crazy, right? Robin586 at AOL.com. So I don't use that email. I couldn't tell you where it goes. Yeah.
But thank you to everybody who's a channel member on supports the show. It's maybe the best way to support the show, unless you want to give a lot of support on Patreon, which you can do too if that's better.
Yeah,
much appreciated, because there ain't no money left in this world, to tell you that much. Not in this game. Yeah, I talked to a buddy yesterday. I was just like, how you doing? And it's like, oh, it's bad. I'm like, yeah, it's really bad. And it's like, and somebody from like another outlet who I know who works for kind of a bigger outlet, like we were talking about yesterday, not good across the board. So any support is totally appreciated. A lot. I thank you for that.
To hear that.
And it means a lot when you guys can give it. I was out working on a scoop the last 24 hours. I was hoping to bring it onto the show today. And I'm having one more source on this little thing, and then I told
verify.
Rob,
can we just make shit up like every other Star Wars show, Jason? Like,
I mean, I guess. Yeah, we can. Right? Okay, so here's what I'm hearing.
Chris Evans is playing Luke Skywalker's son, right?
As a true
Captain America. What?
As a true, he's that cute little robot in the Fallen Order games, and he turns into a person played by Azatru in the next game.
As a droid.
Okay, well,
what other things can we make up today, Jason? You know what I mean? Like, Acolytes actually tie into the Matrix. It's a video game in the Matrix. It's a Star Wars game that's in the Matrix, and you can play it on Unreal 5 demo soon, coming to your PS5.
The big twist in Lando is he starts out as an incel. Really, he hates everybody, and by the end of it, he's completely a transformed guy. He's just about everybody, you know. And
it's actually Lando *Incellorian. Like, that's the name of the series. Yeah.
But anyways,
I like this.
Skywalker Academy is moving their money to Patreon. I got your message about that. I really appreciate it. I mean, yeah, it's the same. To me, it's all the same. It all comes to me, and I guess Patreon, I get a better cut, is what I from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. But what I do like about it on the YouTube side is that when you guys are channel members, I could see, and like on days when it's super busy, I'm like, well, I will answer the channel members' comments and not. But if I know Skywalker's is a Patreon supporter, for instance, I'll just handle it that way. But so anyways, big scoop. I intended to have it ready for us today. I'm very confident in the source that I got the first parts from. Without being specific, so many things that have been huge, true, accurate, big scoops in the past have come from this. But as always, we're in a weird world right now where everything is tentative, and that's what makes me not even like reporting on plans right now. Like our buddy Besman Bulletin had the story about Acolyte Q2 of 2024, I think he said. And it's like, and I know his stuff is actually correct on that right now. Where are we going to be in 3 months? I don't know. Nobody does. Or how it's going to go.
At home, washing our tights.
But I don't like that. I like for things to like come to fruition. But I will be so either we'll do a show over the weekend if the story is able to come out. Or I don't know if you're free, Rob, but if you're free, we'll do the story. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll do like Maybe it's possible.
Nighttime.
Yeah, nighttime.
Let's do Sketchcraft After Dark.
Sketchcraft,
Making Star Wars After Dark. So
we could do both. As the truth says, and super chatters, please sub and donate on the YouTube website rather than the app. Apple takes 30% on top of YouTube's cut. Also, like the video midstream to help it out for free. Thank you. Thank you, As a True. And subscribe to As a True as well. If you're like Star Wars and gaming, that's your dude. That's your dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Best Spin says, we already know what the reaction to the news would be. Yeah, I could see that story. I don't mean to tease out a story I can't talk about. I hate when people do that. I'm not trying to be that guy right now.
Tickle.
No,
tickle,
I'm just.
Tickle.
But once again, I mean, we live in a world where you have to do your due diligence. Yeah, it's not. No, Rob, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's what we're not doing.
Oh, okay, we're not doing that. I don't know. I'm just. Jason doesn't tell me until we're on. He likes the reaction from me, so I'm just fucking with you. Sorry.
Yeah, and make sure you guys watch Santa Show from this morning. Last night, I ended up working on this, and it messed up my whole schedule, and I've been behind because of the life stuff I talked about yesterday. And so I was able to get on Santa Show, but this morning, Santa and I think Meg did a show together. So check that out. Hopefully, I will be there next week for the.
It was a good show. They talked lore, and then they slowly realized the things that I commented on like a year ago. Like it's great, and they're like, maybe they don't care if the High Republic isn't really good and it doesn't really tie into this stuff, and they make up their own stuff. And Joby Harold never watched Revenge of the Sith, like shit like that, like doesn't matter.
Yeah. By the way, that thing, I don't believe that at all. By the way,
I believe it. I barely watched that movie myself. Like the question is, where was Doug Ching? He was production designer on that series. He worked on Revenge of the Sith. Where's the consistency?
No, I honestly think that most of you guys just don't know how to evaluate when you don't like something and why that thing is the way that it is. Like honestly. Yeah. I don't like Joby. I'm not a Joby Harold super fan. I don't think Joby Harold actually wrote anything bad on Kenobi if it was executed differently. No. There isn't one. It's sand, coarse, and rough. We don't have memeable shit where Joby Harold just being like, I'm Joby Harold. Joby Harold said Kenobi. We don't have that.
I wish we did
because it's not.
Although it's funny, Jason, you missed it. Meg was talking about there's apparently a whiteboard and a photo or video for the High Republic crew, and they were like whiteboarding ideas, and Santa was being responsible. She goes, but they wrote down dinosaurs. And I'm like, there was a dinosaur in Kenobi, Meg. They put a dinosaur in Kenobi. We have dinosaurs. Can't wait. Bring back the dinos, man. Give me Dino Wars. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean,
as true, he's on board.
I am looking forward to the 22-minute lore video from Meg about Rontos and how they must have met Rontos.
A CGI Ronto literally walks in front of the camera in the special edition. Don't get me started. It's angering my uncles to no end. I'm like, why do you care? It used to be a droid. Now at least it's whatever. But I do wish we could get that. We could get one of those dinos as a playable character and I'd play Fallen Order if I could play a dino. I'll give you that. Just let me know.
Maybe on PC, maybe somebody will dino mod it for you. It's possible.
But it'll run at 10 frames per second. And as it's true, if you run it on a 427 Ti with 16,000 cores and all right, man, sorry. I didn't have to spend $7,000 on a PC to play a $40 or $70 game. But, all right.
Hey, PC Master Race, bro. As it says, you could ride the Ronto and they go Skywalker.
I don't want to. I mean, technically, the Rancor is a dinosaur.
I would say so. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it has opposable thumbs. So, but didn't T-Rexes have opposable thumbs?
You just went on into a nerd space. So I can't follow.
Dinosaur dudes were my Bionicle kids when I was a kid. I was like, shut up about dinosaurs.
Okay, if we have a podcast called Dinosaur Dudes, though, I'm in. You're watching the Dinosaur Dudes. Yeah. Oh, I'm playing Right here, I think I see some dino claw marks right here. The question is, was it 64 million years ago or today?
Or was it 7,000 years ago on Noah's Ark? You ever go to the Institute for Creation Research, Jason? Oh, the church took me there one day. They had to remove me laughing. Oh, yeah, it was great. Yeah, well, it was youth group. I wanted the donuts, so I had to go to the stupid museum next to, by the way, the Santee Drive-In. So I was like, can we go to the drive-in afterward? Like, I like the drive-in.
Star Wars Santa says the real reason Jason wasn't on the show today is because he's in a Phil Collins cover band and he had rehearsals.
I Can't Dad?
What
I Can't Dad.
What?
It's called I Can't Dads. It's all dads, and they do Phil Collins cover music. I Can't Dads. Real quick, Jason. Bam. Boom.
I don't even know what a studio is. Okay, bro.
I want to sue, you know. Like studio, like something there.
Bespin says, "Did you know that Adam Driver was the first human on Earth?" Yeah, he was. It was right after Starbuck, right? right after Battlestar Galactica.
Don't get me started on the ending to that season. Look, after the whole season 3, they dropped the ship, which is brilliant. Just turn it off. It ended there. They went off and happily ever after.
I liked all of it except for the fact that the Cylons didn't have a plan. I'm still mad about that, and I always will be.
The first line of the show. It's Imagine if Star Wars wasn't a long time ago. Like you get to the end of episode 9 and like, actually, it's today. We lied.
You know what? It's all relative. It was like 3 or 4 or 5 hours ago, which is a long time ago.
Yeah, you lied to me.
Yeah. All right.
What was that movie where he said, "Hey, you lied to me"? What was that movie? And then he smacked him. Oh, it was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Right? When he was like, yeah.
I got that for $5 on Voodoo. By the way, I was on
the Fork.
I was on Bestman Bulletin's podcast, and on it he said, "Oh, on Voodoo, Mario's $5." Not on my Voodoo. Ever. It was never $5.
He's on X Voodoos.
I know. I think it was to rent it. Or something. But we have a development on the Lando story from yesterday. And this is from bestmanbulletin.com. Donald and Stephen Glover to write the Star Wars Lando series. Justin Simien exits. And apparently, this is when Justin Simien was finding it out. I have a couple of theories and conspiracy theories about it, but whatever. I will say it's conjecture on my part for sure. But over this past week and even earlier today, the writer of Lando that was attached to the project back in December 2020 when the series was just announced, Justin Simien had spoken openly about not having an update on the series since its announcement. It now seems as if we have to clarify on that situation. You can support Bespin on Patreon and Coffee, and you can follow him on Threads, since Twitter is going to die. Jeff Snyder.
Oh, I'm off Twitter.
You're off Twitter. Yeah, you're off Twitter.
I'm gone. I'm out. Peace.
I mean, because you can't hang with the X-Boys, we're all so tough in dark mode. Like we're Batman on the internet.
Yeah, man, they're ruining X-Men. Or at least the cartoon will help that,
All right, so Jeff Snyder for Above the Line is exclusively reporting that Justin Simien has been off of the Lando series since last summer when he decided to focus his efforts on Disney's Haunted Mansion reboot, which releases this week. Simien, just earlier today, told the Hollywood Reporter that Lucasfilm loved his Lando script, but that there's been no development on the project since its announcement in 2020. With Simien,
the lead actor hated it. That's what happened.
With Simien adding that he believes he's still attached to Disney Plus series, but that he didn't really know, which is obviously a bad sign. The above the line report goes on to say that Lucasfilm were determined to continue development of the series while Simien focused his efforts on Haunted Mansion. And as part of moving forward with the development on the project, they reached out to the series lead, Donald Glover, Danny Glover's son, in case you're wondering, who previously...
Really?
No. starred in
You lied to me.
2018 Solo: A Star Wars Story. He's actually Mel Gibson's son. That's the twist. Solo: A Star Wars Story as Lando Calrissian, and his brother and occasional writing partner Stephen Glover to take over writing duties and pen the series. By the way, whenever I see Stephen written that way, I'm like, is it Stefan? Is it Stephen? What is it? It confuses my dumb brain.
Are they related to the N64 game Glover?
No. Crispin Glover, though. Crispin Glover, actually. Siblings.
All right. Siblings. Clowny clown.
Yeah.
I like it. Now I got it stuck in my head. Guess what I'm listening to today? Gonna piss off my wife. She hates it. I get her in the car. I put on Clowny Clown, and she told me she will divorce me if I do that ever again.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to weigh out.
Everyone will hate you for that. The siblings have reportedly... Okay, so the siblings have reportedly agreed to step aboard the series as writers with Lucasfilm, reportedly excited about the arrival of the duo as writers and find their take on the series just as exciting. Above the Line mentions that Lucasfilm, Disney, and Glover Camp have attempted to keep word of the Glover brothers taking over the project as writers tight-lipped. But
we need that game, the Glover brothers. They got really awesome music. They just dance their way through levels and shit.
Maybe they could just start writing Stranger Things kind of stuff and calling themselves the Glover brothers and like the Duffer brothers. But that the
mystery
brothers
team, mystery things, right?
So
mystery team, mystery things.
What do you think about the fact that like Bespin Bulletin is calling black men brothers? Does he have that right? Is he allowed to do that?
To be fair, Jeff Snyder called him that first, and Bespin's just quoting Jeff Snyder's secondhand removed. What? Oh, you don't want to pick a fight with Jeff?
Okay, but that the brothers
fight with Jeff.
Why? What? Can we just get
that? You Ball and lived. But he lived. I mean, I don't think we would live. Like, what I'm saying is, Jeff is malleable. Like he's like Gumby. Like he could take a hit. Like he's like that alien. Remember Monster? No, you don't remember that. No one saw Monsters and Aliens. So never mind.
All right. But with the
indestructible Jeff Snyder.
Yeah, I'm sure. But that the brothers signed on well before the Writers Guild of America strike and have not worked on the. Wait, hold on. Okay, I need to go all the way back to the start here. Too many comments. Above the Line mentions that Lucasfilm, Disney, and Glover Camp have attempted to keep word of the Glover brothers taking over the project as writers tight-lipped, but that the brothers signed on well before the Writers Guild of America strike and have not worked on the project. The WGA strike began in May. Okay, it's just a weird sentence. The outlet believes that Justin Simeon's recent comments was the writer-director towing the company line and didn't want to cause headlines before the release of the Haunted Mansion this weekend. Doesn't it kind of seem like it's the opposite, though? Because he could have just no commented, and instead every single thing he said became an article about it. So either they're really bad at it, or that's not really what he's doing. Maybe they want one thing, maybe he wants another.
I told you I wasn't a fan of his comments yesterday. I was like, this is shedding the wrong light on they went a different way, man. That's it. And they ain't got nothing to do this time. I mean, sometimes it does, but not this time. Like this time, it just didn't like what you wrote. Live with it.
But that's the other thing here, though. But let's pause right there and let's just say, I don't think it matters what he wrote. I think Donald Glover and his brother, when they come on to run something or to be a part of a show, they're gonna want that creative input. Like,
fair enough.
Like it. You know what I mean? It could go
right. Same result, different intent, right? I get it.
Yeah, and it could be that it's just a Lando story he doesn't want to do, or he didn't like the stuff, or Disney didn't like the stuff. I mean, you could take it.
Or he doesn't even want to look at it because they doesn't want to be influenced and they want to do their own thing. That largely, I've come onto a project, not any recent ones, but in the past where they're like, hey, we had this thing. I'm like, I don't even want to read that. I just want to go with this other thing because sometimes you can fall into the trap where the people in charge want you to start blending things, like taking this from that, and then you don't have any ownership. And then if people like or don't like it, you don't really feel like you had the ownership of it.
But also, Rob, we don't also know if are they starting from scratch? Are they doing a quote JJ, which was kind of from scratch on 9, or are they just picking up what he has and moving from there? Because that could also be in the cards. That really could be the case here.
No,
you know, I mean, it's completely possible. Yeah, who knows? So above the line mentions that Lucasfilm. Okay, so we already got that one. The Glovers worked together as writers on the critically acclaimed FX series Atlanta, which debuted in 2016 and was wrapped up last year with its 4th and final season, which I still need to watch the last season. Glover wrote 11 of the 41 episodes of Atlanta and wrote the screenplay for Guava Island, both of which Donald starred in. Yeah, Donald is the more experienced writer of the siblings, creating Atlanta along with Amazon Prime Video series Swarm. Donald Glover also wrote 23 episodes of 30 Rock and wrote the upcoming Mr. and Mrs. Smith series for Prime Video, due to release in November, which he also stars in. And he was also his brother was on SNL, correct? I believe that's the case.
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, Donald wrote Mystery Team, right? That was like a low
Mystery Team. I was telling Bestman about that. Oh, Mark Sutton gave a £5 super chat. Thank you so much, Mark. Hey. I appreciate the support, man.
Mystery Team was what I had wanted the Scooby-Doo movie to be back in the day. Even though James Gunn, I mean, it's fine, but I just wanted something that like was more innocently adult. Like, that's the word I'm thinking of. Mystery Team's innocent, but it's also adult.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Bespin says, or don't support Bespin like most people. It's cool. I'll be gone soon enough.
Oh shit!
True. If they don't,
the kingdom of Bespin is upon you.
It's true. Yeah. No. I mean, it's one of those things where, yeah, if you don't support the content creators that a lot of viewers been very supportive of me the last couple of days, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, if Bespin doesn't, why would he do it? Why would he? Why go through the anxiety of it all when nobody cares about you? I care about you, Bespin, but they take you for
no
granted.
One cares.
Reddit leaks. That's a place that likes to take everything for granted. They're gonna, if me and Bespin ever just hold hands and walk off into the sunset with fucking fuck you guys in the rearview mirror, that place is gonna be. I'm gonna read that place every day for fun. I'm gonna read it to watch it go down into comic book news says that Lando's gonna have a squawk, or whatever.
Hey.
Cosmic book, whatever it is.
There's cosmic. Really make about a comic book. So I'm like, hey man, come on, I'm just starting here. Like,
hey, that's when I want you to get some Nikes. I want you to get some Nikes. I want you to put those Nikes on. They're not called Nikes.
Nike.
Your whole continent says it wrong. I don't know why. They're called Nikes. Yeah. They call them Nikes.
Nikes.
Like bikes. Like bikes. Nikes on bikes. No.
Bikey. We should start calling them bikies. Bikies.
Yeah, bikies.
Let's just flip it.
Hey, why not?
Bikey.
All right. So anyways, earlier this year, Glover told GQ that he was being more precious with his time following the COVID-19 pandemic, which, by the way, in my opinion, just my opinion and just conjecture on my part, Donald Glover was smoking some wacky tobacco when he was giving this thing, because when you hear what he's saying, he's like, man, I just want to eat oranges in the sun. I'm like, that's a high fucking dude right there. That's what you say when you're stoned.
That's a $30 muffin high, Jason.
That's a good one. Glover expanded on his comments, revealing that he was only picking projects that did not feel like a waste of his time, and if he got to work with people he enjoys working with. And right there to that, me and Bespin's first question, could that mean that Kira comes back? And it's like, well, I don't know. Did he like working with her? Who knows? Who knows? Are they friends in real life? Because if they are, that could be a sign that you could see people from Solo, a Star Wars story, returning. But another big question I have on this is we were going back and forth on this too. Will this story take place in the Mando time? Will this be like post Return of the Jedi Lando figuring out his life? Will this be when Lando loses his daughter? Will this be a Star Wars story part 2 with just Lando set in that time. Like there's so many different like.
This is a New Hope Lando, I guarantee
it. Is it a New Hope Lando? Yeah,
it's a New Hope Lando. Yeah.
Well, I heard some things about the Galactic Civil War era of Star Wars and filming in SoCal. And that has to do with the fact that most of the costumes are very expensive, stormtrooper costumes and Imperial stuff, and that they have been refurbishing stuff from the films up until Ahsoka. Then they've now officially run out. They made a lot of new things for Andor, presumably. Okay, that's like the one, but those ones right there are owned by the Andor people for now. So I don't know.
All they had to do is make one less Marvel show, and they got costumes for another 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I think we could all do with at least one less Marvel show, right, Jason?
Yeah. So me and Bespin's walking up into the sunset is actually more like Jyn and Jyn Erso and Cassian on the beach.
I thought it would be more like the ending to Kill Bill when she got the 5-finger death punch where he did, and he just like, you guys take 5 steps and then your heart explodes. Like, yeah, you're done.
But and then it's like, where would they film this? Would they film this?
Your button around the corner.
Hey, your mama, your daddy.
I haven't done it yet, but I wait like almost 2 years without. Actually, 2 years I think now without making that joke, and I'm
surprised I went 2 days without your mama, your daddy, bald-headed granny. So whatever, dude. But
that's a true laughs.
We were, Bespin and I we were like debating this yesterday, and like Bespin obviously hopes it's filmed in the UK, as do I.
But you're quitting. No, Bespin's quitting. Azatru's staying. Never mind. My bad.
If Lando's a video game, Azatru will be there for sure too. But where are they? Where are they going to make this one? And it's like because I was like evaluating this, right? And
Atlanta.
Look at Empire Strikes Back. Let's pretend. Does this series have to do with Bespin, not the man, the city, in Empire Strikes Back? Is this how the planet? Is this how he gets Cloud City? Or does this going back to Cloud City? If either of those stories should be an important part of this quote limited series, we think it's a limited series. We're not sure, but probably. Look at Empire Strikes Back. You could film that in El Segundo. The Empire Strikes Back Bespin that we get, that shit's like fucking panels set up just like Mando right now. It's the same like.
We're talking about special edition Bespin or pre-special edition Bespin.
Both. I'm saying both would fit that mold very, very easily. And even like the stuff on the docking bay is essentially like what may even look better actually in the volume, surprisingly, because some of that stuff is a bit rough.
They actually added wind to the Bespin exterior shots as opposed to most volume shots when they just pretend like wind doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, what is wind? Can you see it? Can't see it.
Yeah, you can. You can see all your stuff moving around.
Agree to disagree.
Especially at 70 Star Wars hair. You see it blowing around all over the place.
Everybody's bald in the series if they just go with
Jason, we all look, don't wish your life upon us. All right. Like
Bespin says, am I special edition Bespin? People tell me I'm pretty special.
Shit, we're not making them jokes, man. It's not 1992.
As the truth says, me and Bespin were talking yesterday. It's rough for me as well. Just lie and you'll earn enough to live. Say the truth, disappear. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds like this internet that we're all on, isn't it? No, but so where will it be? I mean, like obviously, I hope every single thing is in the UK. My fear though for Star Wars television itself is that the film productions will mainly be in the UK, and that they won't bother spending that amount of cash on television shows anymore. Like when you're trying to make Disney Plus profitable, I don't know what you do. I definitely know it's not necessarily spending 200 plus million on series, limited series, especially.
I was having a discussion with my wife about bottle episodes and TV, right?
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean by bottle episodes?
bottle episodes are normally back in the day, like let's say Deep Space Nine, Next Generation, Star Trek, stuff like that, Buffy, whatever. They have sets that are built for each season, right, or for a series. And when you look at the cost of amortizing those sets across the entire production, you say, okay, well, we're going to have 24 scripts for the season. We need half of those scripts to take place using just these sets. Otherwise,
the holodeck,
you know what I mean? Like, it's going to get crazy. So that's where holodeck adventures come from. That's just where like promenade, like mysteries, like
but basically like the Bridge of the Enterprise would be one where you build that pretty much once and you use it for all 22 episodes or something.
Right. And Buffy, there'd be one where they're stuck in the magic box for an episode, stuff like that, like things like that. And so I think like Mando did a good job of trying that with the I call the prison escape episode. That feels like a bottle type episode, where you take a set and kind of move around. We got to escape a prison ship, right? But if you move around the sets, you can make the prison ship look like way more than what it really is, kind of thing. So there is something to be said for doing that, and making TV Star Wars not feel cheap, but feel a little more claustrophobic in the way that the original Star Wars film felt claustrophobic, right? Mm-hmm. The problem is everybody wants everything to be the greatest thing ever all the time. You know what I mean? While simultaneously complaining about budgets. The internet and fandom in general is just psychotic. like maniacally so. So I'm always impressed when I see something like utilize very little and get a lot out of it. That's like just in any given endeavor. In Mando, like getting rid of his ship where you actually have different compartments and a room and a thing to do was a big mistake for me, because I'm like, you can do different things with that. If you build onto the ship, if the Naboo starfighter docked into the ship, replace the engines or something, then you can have an away, you can have an on the ship bit. But when it's just like a little cockpit, then you're like, well, now you have to move them around everywhere. And that just increases your budget triple fold. The Millennium Falcon is a ship that you can have some adventures on just the ship. Like, I mean, if you really think about it, the second TIE fighter battle, or the first TIE fighter, but whatever, when the escape battle from the Death Star in the first film, it's sort of like a bottle bit where it's just them utilizing the sets, really, and inserting some optical shots after the fact. But the bulk of it is just utilizing that set that they built, the Millennium Falcon set. So I hope they start thinking more like that. And then in that is where the creativity comes from, not from endlessly producing matte paintings that are going to, on a TV budget rival that of Revenge of the Sith. You just don't want to compete with the two things,
Yeah. Well, especially now that we're moving back towards films being a thing.
I don't the fly episode, right?
And yeah, Mark Sutton mentions the fly episode in Breaking Bad is a perfect bottle episode. So, right. Yeah, so that's cool. Makes sense. So Jonesy says the Marvel Comics added Lando Calrissian to the LGBTQ Marvel Pride covers approved by Lucasfilm, making it canon. This may indicate a certain direction for the upcoming Lando TV series. And that's one of the questions that is what I think Justin Simeon was even asking is that allowed now, or is that not allowed? Is this a reason why it's not being made?
Well, not in Florida.
But then also with I don't have that I don't know like a lot about the cover. I know it was a cover. I know that you're correct there. I don't know if there was like any stipulations or anything about that, but like, just the fact, like, is it going to be as lame as Lando liked, a droid, therefore he's pansexual, therefore he makes the cover? And in a sci-fi kind of thing, it does make sense. It would be very checkboxy accurate, but are they going to actually,
be fair,
do anything with it or not is the question.
I have had past relationships where certain partners, had a deeply personal relationship with their mechanical friend, if you know what I'm saying, Jason. Mm-hmm. So, like, I like when they go Lando has a problem. I'm like, well, a lot of women have relationships with robots. Like,
well, is it
right
an emotional
now?
attachment to Rob? Maybe.
Yes, yeah, I can tell you, they were far more into that than me. Like,
oh, yeah,
you know, my stepmother threw that in my dad's face a few times. It's like, I don't want to know about this. We're at Fuddruckers. Like,
yeah, come on, man.
I'm trying to eat, man. What are you doing?
All right. So,
TMI.
So Glover signs off adding that Lando could possibly be one of these projects that he had spoke with Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, who told IGN in April that the Lando series was definitely still happening. And by the way, I'm of the opinion that if this version of Lando, either any of them may not ever come out, but I think the Lando thing will happen. Like in my opinion,
I want to see him gambling. I want to see Lando really gambling. You know what I mean? That's what I want. I like a gambling Lando. It's my kind of jam.
Yeah. No, I mean Lando is one of the last characters from The Empire Strikes Back who matters, who you can do something with. So you know what I'm saying? Like Luke, Han, and Lando. Luke, Leia, and Han Solo. Their stories are somewhat like mapped out and defined. Lando has the most things that you can play around with. And like when Lando, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, but also
he may or may not have a daughter. We're not tied to that.
But to roll it back. But let's like roll it back though. When going back to Jonesy's comment about the LGBTQ plus like comments, what does he end up doing though? He still ends up having a daughter with the woman. It still goes into like a heteronormative like narrative. And Jason, so
Chillmonger wants to know, what merch will the Lando series sell? Son, do you not know about capes? Come on.
Capes? All kinds of capes.
Capes. Yeah. Bell bottoms and capes, man. Bring them back.
Yeah. But I mean, like the way that the narrative has to go or will go is going to be somewhat like streamlined. And then like there's elements of it that I think are potential future like landmines. Like if you go into the series, for instance, and you make Lando like if you show Lando as being the way that I think now this is me being cynical, admittedly, but the way that Americans view bisexuality is, you ain't bisexual, you gay. Like that's just how they fucking do it. Like people say that all the time to people. And so I think if you should have Lando in a relationship with a male, and then you have Lando at the end of the series having a daughter with a woman, I think some people are gonna just fucking have a hard time with it. And then so they're gonna have to. I just
want to see him gambling and pulling off heists. That's what I want to see, man. Like all this other shit, dude. It's General Hospital drama, man. Like people get far too in. I like a little bit of my drama and Buffy, but when you're like, I don't need 6 drama storylines in one season. Trim 2.
Yeah.
You know, like this is like everyone wants to know who's having a relationship with who and who's with. I mean, fuck all that, dudes. Give me the adventure. Why don't you nail the adventure first and then give me the relationship shit next? Because now we're lacking real adventure.
No. See, actually, what you just said is exactly what they've been trying to do with all of these characters who don't know how to fuck. Like look at Kylo and Rey. Han Solo can't even hook up with Kira. Like
you can't have Rey sleep with the guy who killed her surrogate father and his own father in the hero of the series. Like it's a fundamental problem. Fundamental problem.
But point is,
I know, James.
Point is they have like largely been afraid, I think, of romance, in any way, and then that's why I kind of laugh. I'm like, you guys can't even deal with heteronormative relationships, and now you got a character who's pansexual, right. And you're gonna try to deal with that through the Disney corporate lens at the same time. It's sort of like, I'm just interested to see how they do it. I don't really give a fuck how they handle it or what they do. I'll watch it. I'll see how it goes. I hope
their chance for pulling that off really was the Solo movie with him and Kira, right? Like had they pulled that off and then she ended up being Rey's mom, there was something there, but none of that there was no chemistry between, like, no offense. I haven't seen much chemistry between Emilia Clarke and anybody on screen. Anybody, even Jason Momoa. Like, I don't really know how she not. I don't know. She's got that same chemistry that Natalie Portman has with folks. Nothing. You know. Yeah. Nothing. I don't know why, man. I don't know anything about actors. I don't know how that works. So
I mean, well, yeah, if you saw us at the solo premiere, you would have known what it really looks like when it happens. But
I mean, I believed in the chemistry between Baccarin, the chick from Serenity, and Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool, right? The Deadpool chemistry. I get the chemistry in like a Terminator movie, right? The first one between, Reese, and I get the chemistry between Hicks and Sigourney Weaver, right? And Aliens. Like, I get that chemistry. I even get the Titanic chemistry. I just don't get Star Wars chemistry. Like Luke and Han and Leia, I bought that in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. That's the last time I bought, any chemistry. But so just focus on the adventure. And if chemistry appears, go there naturally. Yeah. But I wouldn't try and force this one in there. It's not what we're all going there for anyway. So
they didn't even know how to make the Mandos get down, and I think the Mandos would be the easiest people to get down with.
Right? Like, how do you Katie Sackhoff just sitting there like, I'm just like, how is nothing, Mando? What is this guy?
I'm pretty sure Katie Sackhoff's characters wouldn't even need to tell you no strings attached. You would just know. But anyways, author of the exclusive report, Dev Snyder, took to his podcast, The Hot Mic, following the release of his exclusive report, where he spoke more on the Glovers taking over writing duties and Simeon exiting the series. Snyder said that Justin Simeon's Haunted Mansion wasn't a smooth production, with heavy reshoots taking place for the film's third act, and that Simeon wasn't well versed in production with heavy use of CGI, which led to the Dear White People writer-director being in post-production on the flick for a while, which prompted Lucasfilm to move on to obtaining the Glover brothers to write the project, as Simeon amicably exited the studio, as the studio were determined to continue development of the series. So, yeah.
How would the Glover brothers be more attuned to visual? The visual effects thing isn't like, I don't know how to insert a visual effect shot into it. It's more like, you can't make it all up in post, because that triples your cost. You gotta be very, post has to be like adjustments and pickups and things that are missing, but total rewrites or that didn't work, that's kind of the bigger issue.
Well, I mean, everybody knows that they did Atlanta in the volume, so Shogun Order.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Shogun. Yeah, we'll definitely answer that after the Orlando stuff. Because I didn't get to talk about it at all. So anyways, Lucasfilm to move. So anyways, personally, this is Bespin. I'm very excited to hear that Donald and Steven will be now penning the Lando series. I'm a huge fan of Atlanta, and I believe it to be one of the best series of the past decade. So I'm thrilled to see the siblings team up once again. I can't help but hope that with the Glover brothers reuniting for Lando following the 4th season of Atlanta, which released last year, that the duo bring fellow Atlanta collaborator Hiro Murai, who directed 26 episodes of the series, over to Lando. I'd personally be overjoyed if that happens. So bulk of the series. Hiro was the name of a character in the back half of the Marvel comics, by the way. I like the character as a child.
So in Heroes, remember there was Hiro?
He was a Seaman. But anyways, yeah, like, and that's one of the like kind of another question I have about like this like Lando series, though, is when you hear like who's involved, you're like, do they how political do they take this show, if at all? You know what I'm saying? Because it can go a lot of different ways, but just when you look at who they started with, when they start,
You know what else Hero's directing? 18 episodes of The Bear.
The Bear. I've heard that. I haven't seen that, but I heard it's good.
It's good. What that says to me is he's an actor's director. You know what I mean? He's a guy that gets putting 4 people in a room and boiler potting it, which, be honest, that's like when Han, Luke, and Leia are stuck on the Millennium Falcon and they got that pop, 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 pop. That's what that's what makes Empire Strikes Back work. And anybody else not done that movie but Kirsch and them, like, I just It could have been really bad. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no,
could have been really bad.
Yeah, it takes a lot of talent and luck for something to come out that good. Even though
I think Kirsch's stage stuff probably helped more with that, though. You know, like working in theater helps more. But
yeah, when you
if
look
I had
at
to
what
ponder, I guess
what those sets are and stuff like that, yeah,
right.
I can see that.
Right.
Especially with like how big some of those sets were, bigger than TV stages, but you know, still big stages nonetheless. So this like Lando show, because like when you hear like who's involved, like for instance, if Hero was involved, then you start going, oh, is this going to be like Atlanta, or like what's the tone of it going to be? I mean, because like if you were to do a Lando show, there's like a couple of different ways of getting into it. You know, I mean, you could just do Lando straight up as it is, a charming, swashbuckling riverboatman. You know, I always like I was talking to Bespin yesterday. I'm like, Han Solo's
like
a
Maverick
cowboy.
in space.
Well,
like Maverick, Richard Donner.
Han Solo's a cowboy. And when they were getting to writing Han Solo's character changes in The Empire Strikes Back. They make him more Clark Gable. They make him more of like a riverboatman gambler kind of character. And Lando exemplifies that component of Han's life. So to me, when I pull the lens out a little bit, Han Solo, stupid cowboy. Lando, Clark Gable. The two can meet. They can adventure. They can beach. But at the same time, they're kind of two different sorts of.
I want more Maverick and less Porkies. For picking up riverboats.
That's fair. That's fair. Right. I do remember that riverboat. I was watching Porkies as a child.
And yes, I know Maverick has an anti-Semitic asshole in the movie, but it was before all that. The tone of that movie is great.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But so this like Lando show though, it can be it could literally be anything right now, and I think like our presumption about what it is, because like I said, it could be a Mando series. This could be Lando during The Mandalorian, filmed in SoCal.
Mando.
Yeah, I mean Donald. They might want Donald Glover for one of the Filoni films. It's completely possible that it could go that way. Like it's completely on the table. Or this could be, like I said, this could be Lando during after Solo.
Jason, we gonna make him Two-Face Lando. We're gonna be in my movie, Mando forever. He gonna have Two-Face. One side's gonna be Billy D. Williams, and the other side's gonna be Donald Glover.
That's cool. I'd watch it.
Yeah, we're gonna team up with Yak Face. It's gonna be the Faces trilogy. We're gonna do a whole movie within a movie. I can't wait, man. The movie. Yeah, that's all I got. Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.
But yeah. No. So until we hear, you know, a little bit about anything on it, because like you would assume that Donald Glover is young Lando, but we also need to be real.
Billy D. Glover.
Yeah.
I don't know where that joke came from. I did not plan it out. That Filoni's got a mind of his own. Jason.
Who's in control? I don't know. But
I don't know. They hand up my ass, apparently. All right.
No, but Billy D. Williams really Jim Henson is largely too old to play Lando in a meaningful, action-packed way in this day and age. But also, we need to be real that Donald Glover is 40 years old. Donald Glover, he's good looking, so that does, he could play a 30-year-old Lando for sure. You could make it work. You can do that, but at the same time, I mean, like we are kind of in a place where might just be Lando now, and it might not be young Lando. And this might be post Return of the Jedi Lando. It might be set in the Mandalorian universe. It would allow that character to be on that show at times if they ever wanted to like do something fun. It's all there now. For the record, I don't love the idea because Filoni's use of Lando, like in the Rebel stuff, was a bit eye-rolling. It's like, hey, everybody, I'm Lando Calrissian, and I'm just here to bring some puffer pigs onto the show. What? What is it? All right,
I would love to see Donald Glover pull that one off. That would be something. I was like, I'm a puffer pigs.
Yeah. I mean, it's season 2. I like Star Wars Rebels in totality in terms of the storytelling, but in season 2, it got cameo sickness. Like, what do we do?
I think they're better off pursuing newer stories than how he got the mining colony bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, just to be honest with you.
Honestly, on that front right there, though, if they want familiarity, I would be more interested in how he got it back, and we learned some about how he originally got it, as opposed to how he got it originally. And then, but
he's in Colt 45. Actually, that already is a Colt 45. Never mind, my bad. We'll take the joke back.
But we could see Lobot coming back. We could see Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo in his film, especially if you liked working with him, if they liked each other. Honestly, Alden is didn't do anything wrong as Han Solo. The script did some things wrong, but Alden didn't do anything wrong, I don't think. And that whole thing of it sounded like alrighty then. That was bullshit. That wasn't even like what really happened. I'm sorry, but I'm tired of that one, because that wasn't.
I never bought that bullshit rumor either.
What like I
that
said,
movie needed more fun, by the way.
Yeah, it was. It is.
Everyone dies in the first 20 minutes, and then when the story gets started, you're like, "What are we doing?" You did it in Aliens, but I don't know if this is exactly the. Just make a fun adventure summer. What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, when your corporate tie-in is Denny's, don't make a World War I movie. I'm just saying. In the trenches with my moves over my hammy.
Here's where you're completely wrong, Rob. When you're eating Pop Rocks on a strawberry pancake, you just think World War I, bro. We all do.
Just like, come on, man. They had the 70s look in the advertising. I love the merch design that they were doing, the Denny's tie-in. But the movie's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? They needed. I was like, this movie needs Lord Miller. Oh, they had Lord Miller. Like, what are we doing?
Well, and like in terms of, and like some other big questions that I have at this point, like, is the story of this a Lucasfilm created story? Because if it is, then like the Justin Simien work would likely contribute to the work of the Glovers. If it's just original stories that they're just kind of pulling out, like, we just want to tell this, then the Justin Simien stuff may have nothing to do with it at all in the end, No,
I think that was just him making like, what was wrong? I told you the problem with that whole story isn't his comments, which I disagree with, but I don't think that's the problem. The problem is Hollywood just doesn't communicate. And it's not a Lucasfilm problem. It's just the business. The business just like, yeah, we did business. Bye. I mean, I told you I've signed NDAs and they disappear. I mean, what's the point of that? Like, show me the fucking, it's like, what are we doing? Why go through the hat? And by the way, NDAs aren't like, oh, I just signed it. It's a whole thing, like when you go through a real one, it's a whole thing. And you go through it and you're like, what was that all about? Yeah. So that's just like, that's bad. That's just bad relationship building, and talent. You never know where talent will end up, and you don't want to burn bridges before they've been built, like,
yeah. Jonesy says, unfortunately, they cannot show sexual scenes in Star Wars because they are inappropriate for the target audience. Nudity is a card they could have used roughly in bad times to attract a new fan base.
Jonesy.
No, but I mean, but look at Andor. Andor does kind of go there for Star Wars. It goes there pretty heavy for Star Wars.
No. All you need to do is I put a boob in Jedi. Yeah, that's true.
Well, you were the one.
Chet and I, we get the old VHS loaded up, and we have to time it, but we get it. We get it. There's a boob. Yeah, boob.
All right. Shogun Order says, super hypothetical. If Apple bought Disney, what would Apple do with Star Wars just for kicks? So realistically, just looking at how you would imagine it would go, they would probably not want to rock the boat super hard for investors, and they would want it to seem like everything's just business as usual. And so I could kind of see them acquiring it and then watching how it's run, and it taking a little bit of time before we saw choices actually being implemented in there in any kind of like meaningful way, because there are promises that have been made to the audience. And if they just went, for instance, Apple bought it and said, now we're doing another continuity, it would fucking, things would fall apart. It would be really bad. So point being is, but I could also see them maybe being a little bit more creative with who they allow to make things. That's one of the good things I could see coming about from it. When I just look at what they have done on Apple TV, if the creators at Apple TV or the producers, the powers that be, were in charge in some way of letting Disney do what it wants to do and how they were handling it, I could see that being, I could see that Dune. I could see like just like more interesting filmmakers being involved would be kind of where I think it would go. But at the same time, I could see it just being business as usual for like a very, very long time. Because
the answer is no fundamental change whatsoever. That's the answer. I think the bigger thing would be them finding ways to integrate Apple exclusive apps and shit into the theme parks and software and all that other stuff would be
your Lobot exclusive iPhone 69.
I could see Apple TV and Disney Plus becoming a whole one spot thing. That I could see.
Yeah.
But
then again, they also because of monopoly rules and such, they may have to pretend like that's not what they're going to do and that they're not going to do that, and then of course integrate over time. While nobody's looking.
Now you have to install iTunes to watch Mando.
Stuff like that.
Motherfuckers! I just deleted that. That's one thing Filoni wanted. And he got it.
But I'm glad that we're hearing anything about the Lando series. Like I was joking on Bespin show. I'm like, after Michael Keaton's Batman and Indiana Jones, nobody gave a shit that they came back this summer. I don't know what's what anymore in this world, in this topsy-turvy world, but I do feel like I said, Lando's one of the most known names. Like I asked Bespin on his show, and if Lando was a done series and Ahsoka was a done series, and they were both coming out at midnight tonight, which would be the most watched show? And I don't know the answer, but his answer was Ahsoka because of the fan base. But I feel like the Lando thing is way bigger because of Empire Strikes Back and the original trilogy stuff that's had 40 years to permeate into our consciousness and our imaginations. But this is after the summer that Indiana Jones couldn't get arrested. So I don't know. So maybe I'm completely wrong on that front. But I also think that
see, Jason, the answer isn't which one would you watch. The answer is, would you take the Lando Ahsoka challenge? Or you gotta find a way to meme them into one thing, and then you got to take the challenge and trick everyone into go seeing two movies they would have not have seen otherwise.
Ahsoka Heimer.
Yeah, so what does Heimer have anything to do with Lando?
I'm going to watch Oppenheimer and I'm going to watch Ahsoka on the 23rd.
Now you're just mixing everything, right?
I'm just doing however I want. Like the suicide soda, where you mix all the sodas together.
I told you, biggest missed opportunity in the history of marketing was when the first Suicide movie came out. They should have made a Suicide soda 6-pack that just mixed all the sodas into random cans, I mean,
and I bet you if you were like, I don't know what those people are called, like mixologists or some stupid probably. But if you change the amount, you could probably make something pretty good. Like
my friend was saying, you can't put Suicide on food. They already had the Suicide Squad on all the drinks. They were right. It said Suicide Squad. I'm like, guys, we're past that.
All you do is you just add soda to the end of Suicide Squad soda. Then you're not like, then you're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And I'm telling you, like each one, you don't know what's in it. It's a mixture of something. What is that? Ultimate, whatever. It's in the wrong industry.
So you're saying that Lando will probably drink Crystal Pepsi? Is your take?
Fuck, that's my drink. What are you talking about? Me and Lando got good taste. Van Halen and Crystal Pepsi. Woohoo! We on.
Really?
I love that album.
As the truth says, Bob already loves Apple. He's obsessed with his iPad and thinks Disney Plus on Vision Pro is going to be a big hit. And
Vision Pro. Yeah, Vision sure. Pro. Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
I love VR. You guys know I love VR, and I don't want to put anything on my face to do anything that I normally do. It's just we're never going to want to.
I hate AR. AR is the thing I hate. I want to go to another world. I don't want to be like, now I've augmented. I'm like, oh, fuck this. I can pretend to, like, it's not you can reach. It's stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Well, I like that stuff. I just like being comfortable to do it, and it's never comfortable. Mumbo Jumbo says, does Donald Glover's brother have any writing credits? Could be cool to have the Glover brothers doing a Lando show together. By the way, I'm late to the show. Mumbo, get to the back of the class. You're in trouble. You're tardy. We'll see you after school for 45 minutes. But that said, yeah, his brother does have writing credits, but also like something that we tend to, I think, miscalculate when we're trying to evaluate creatives in Hollywood is the stuff that gets listed is just the stuff that gets made. Like, think about, once again, back to the Tony Gilroy comment, the best stuff I ever wrote was never made. And Christopher McQuarrie.
Or uncredited, like McQuarrie on Rogue One.
Uncredited,
right?
Yeah.
Uncredited, right.
Yeah. And so
like the best Superman thing I've ever read, dude, was an unmade script by Keith Giffen, who wrote, it was a great Superman script. The space aliens hire Lobo to kill Superman because he's ruining their business. And I'm like, this is fucking genius. I was like, if they could have done a CGI Lobo back in the day with The Rock doing him, like that would have just been a fun movie that didn't need a bunch of, that, it happens all the time,
Bespin clarifies and reiterates that their brother wrote on Atlanta, Guava Island, and SNL. And so,
I wonder if he wrote the Sonic Cake skit. Did you ever see that one? It's one of the few ones that made me laugh. It's when Eddie Murphy was on a couple years ago. And they do a bake-off, and he's making a Sonic cake, and he pulls it over, and it looks like something from the 10th dimension of hell. Like it's got human teeth. Speaks like that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but once again, like who knows what else they've written on and all that kind of jazz. And like we always say, like once again, like somebody will do something brilliant in Marvel or Rick and Morty or something, and then they'll go over to one of these other IPs, and it's just like it doesn't work. So it's who knows what to expect, or they just don't connect with it right, or they don't connect with it in the way that the mass consciousness does about that thing. And
this is where my life experience outside of t-shirts, like working on Blizzard, I worked on Overwatch 2 for 4 months. And I gotta tell you, man, like that's when I felt the reign of corporate, like this is what this is, and it cannot be anything but what this is. But then they really don't know what it is. They just know what they want it to be.
Yeah.
And you're like, and you could just feel like failure at every turn. You're like, there's just nowhere to maneuver here. No matter what you do, you're making something that they don't really know what it is. And if you've played the game, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about now. Like the game's out, so I could say whatever the hell I want at this point. But that was the thing, man, that like when that first Overwatch came out, I didn't play it, but I loved the universe. When it came out, I'm like, this is the coolest universe they've made since the original Street Fighter. This is a Street Fighter 2 first-person shooter. This universe has the potential to be bigger than this game. And they blew it. They just threw it away, So it's like they did not understand that concept. That became, we're Blizzard and this is the Blizzard way of doing things. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means, and it's just weird when you get into that conversation. Like, I'm trying to, the thing you're working on wants to be something, Jason. It wants to be something. And the more you tinker with it, the more it reveals itself to you. And you have to, like the Force, you have to hear it. You have to hear where it's going and help shape that, and you at some point you stop making something into something, you start being the conduit through which it's flowing through you, and that's the hard part to explain to people who've never done it.
I was on the spaceship and I started hearing all along the watchtower. I started fucking jamming it out. And the next thing you know, all these people are robots.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's tough when you're like making something. Let's say you're making the first X-Men film and Tom Rothman comes in there. Tim Rothman, whatever his name is, comes in there. Tom Rothman comes in there and goes, I think Wolverine should do this, but then the claw pops up and it gives you the middle finger. And you're like, you have to work that in somehow. And they made it work, but I listened to David Hayter speak at the ArcLight back in the day about how like that was a painful time to like, how do we make this joke work? Like some dude just came out, I think this should be in the movie. What does this have to do with the movie? Meanwhile, Christopher McQuarrie was like, how we start the movie off? Start in World War II in a Jewish concentration camp. And we show these people are being, persecuted for being a minority race. And this guy ends up being a mutant. And he can already see what humans will do to him when they find out he's different than them, right? Like that is a genius thing that benefits everything. In my opinion, still the best X-Men scene in any X-Men film, period.
But Christopher McQuarrie also sits down in the barber's chair. And then he goes like, they go, it's not good. He goes, oh, more Lucas. They're like trim it, they're dyeing it. They're doing it. It's all more.
I'm telling you, Jason. He's trying to marry Linda right now. Like he's just. Oh, no. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I got.
Is Linda alive? Is Linda Ronstadt alive?
Does it matter anymore? Does it matter?
Deep fake.
Yeah.
Deep fake marriage.
Look, once I showed Filoni that, and you'd never believe who he deep faked onto Abraham Lincoln's body. It's ridiculous.
Ben asked, could Billy D maybe do a flashback where he's telling a story about the young Donald Glover Lando? So you're talking like the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles format. Just in my opinion, my reading of that is that writers today consider that a bit passe. I don't think they would do it. I don't see that narrative structure used very much in most things that are being kicked around. So while it's possible in a way to get Billy D into it, I'm not expecting that to be the case. And also, like, I love Billy D. Williams. I want Billy D. Williams to be great, but Billy D. Williams is very old now. I'm not so sure like he's like, in a place where he could go and be Lando for us, like in a good way, that makes us remember Lando how we should and stuff. So I'm a bit cynical on that stuff. I wish, Billy D was immortal and forever young, obviously, but real world stuff, I don't know.
I wish I was immortal and forever young, no offense, Billy D, but I'll take me before him. But
fuck you, Billy D, me first. No.
Yeah, sorry, yes. Sorry, Billy D. I'm like Daffy Duck shoving the genie back in the bottle. Mine.
We just push him off the Titanic little raft boat there really quick.
Fair enough.
Get off,
It's a 10-story drop. You'll live.
James Cameron's there. Showed us like he can cut the rope in 2 minutes if he needs to.
Have you not seen James Cameron cut the rope?
I saw him cut the rope.
On National Geographic?
He cut it.
On National, he got the pocket knife out and cut the rope. He did it.
I think at the end there, he also cut the cheese and they cut that. But
and then you went and beat up some robots.
Beat up some VCRs.
Who wrote Terminator and directed Terminator 1 and 2 should have a room where he just beats up robots with a baseball bat. Like, I fucking Iron Jim. I love Iron Jim. I got a roll here soon, buddy.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going as a true as well. Based on what I saw her at Celebration, he's not capable of working, and it's like I think they could get a scene out of him. They could, of course, but it's just I think it's time that Billy D is really retired. By the way, he did a tweet today going, something big's coming. Everybody's like, it's Lando, and with the Lando news coming, I'm like, guys, no, we can't talk about Lando. He can't talk about anything. He's in the deal.
He just had salsa and something big was on the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got a rumbly in my tumbly, Chewbacca.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah. Jonesy asks, are you planning to visit the Lucasfilm Museum of Narrative Art opening in LA in I follow that on Twitter. I followed that story. It's got, with around the time of the pandemic, it got really quiet over there. And so I think like it kind of stalled out for a time. But yeah, I'll go there. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to taking my kids there. I like taking my kids to museums, and I like to take them to the museums where they could kind of see things that they are interested in. And then it kind of like, lets them see, oh yeah, not everything needs
a wax museum.
Wax museums are fun. I like them. There used to be that one.
By the way,
over by Knox.
Jason Mewes apparently, like, although he believes he made it with Garbage Pail Kids, his ultimate dream is to be in the wax museum. Really? That's when that's
I'm
how
surprised there's not one.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah, but in terms of it's fun when you see like the multi-generational thing, but that's like almost in a weird way becomes fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, it's not going to work, guys. Like, I know you have this thing where you can go, I would love to see a narrator. No, you wouldn't, because when you watch it, you're going to hear some corporeal voice that doesn't match up to Donald Glover's performance. You know what I mean? And people are just wondering, who is this guy? What am I hearing? What is this? And if you don't believe me, go watch Harrison Ford's voice through a CGI young Harrison Ford. An 81-year-old coming through a 31-year-old face or 40-year-old face. It's just not. It doesn't work, folks.
As a very sane person, I've seen that movie 4 times. Now, if you've seen the movie 8 times, you're fucking nuts. For the record,
but
if you see it 4 times, you're totally normal.
Nuts?
Totally normal. In Indiana Jones, what's funny about it, Rob, is after watching it, analyzing it several times, there's only like 1.5 scenes that drop the ball on that. But those times that it does are so important that it permeates through the whole thing. It's like a fart wafting through the room after that. Even though he sounds perfect for almost all of it, those couple of times, there's 2 times and 1.5 even, and it takes the whole thing down. It's like I'm hoping that when they put it on home video or whatever you call it, streaming or whatever, I hope they like do an alternate take on the audio.
The time for one more Lando was in your stupid Rise of Skywalker movie, and they fudged it. So there, it's over. That was it. That was your time, but you whiffed it, so it's over. Move on.
Yeah. It was just the biggest missed opportunity. And that's just what it was.
Not the biggest, second biggest missed opportunity is putting all 3 of them together when they were still alive. All 4 of them.
I have always fundamentally disagreed with that.
I know, and I fundamentally disagree with you on that.
It looks fucking. I've seen the Photoshops, and it looks.
Don't care about Photoshops. Annie Leibovitz shots at it is going to look brilliant. It's a whole different.
It ends up. I mean, I've seen them all together before. Like when they're all old, it's not happy.
Should have been right in that first movie.
Nah. It's just like the Star Trek movies. Sorry, those are embarrassingly cringy when they're all like.
Yeah, imagine they had never all gotten back together. That would have been great. That would have been wonderful. Picard season 3 did it.
Here's the
thing.
Here's the thing. You either keep it real or you don't. That's what I say.
Well, they didn't.
They started. Yeah. No, they went. They went for the keeping it real angle the whole time, and then obviously people died and stuff like that before they could backtrack on their choices, which is what they would have done. 1000%. JJ would have undone it all at the end if he could have. But anyways, we might be back over the weekend. I'm going to go do some things in the next couple of hours.
If it's that thing, I want to be there for that. If it's not that thing, I don't care.
Thing. It's that thing. And if we can't, I'll text you.
I want to know what it is. I want to know what I don't even know what it is, man. I want to be there when it happens so I can make. That's it. That's all you got. That's what we're here for. I'll shut up here on a Saturday for this.
Well, let's like put it this way. It's gonna be a highly discussable story. That's what I would call it. Highly discussable.
Omega's in the next film with Rey. It's Rey and Omega.
Kira is gonna raise Omega
as Omega Red.
Yeah. Ahsoka falls through a crack in time, goes to the world between worlds, where she goes into a multiverse where that is Rey's mom and Omega is her best friend. Okay, everybody.
And then they appear in that scene in Multiverse when they go to Star Wars, right?
Yeah. When we're going to Star Wars, everybody. Thank you to everybody for the super chats today and yesterday. I really do appreciate it. And we'll be back probably over the weekend, and with the story. It'll be a good time, I think. Just like I said, just wanna dot my I's, cross my T's. You know, make sure it's up on the up and up. And yeah, if you have any questions or anything like that, just leave them in the comments and we'll see them. And if they're nice and fun, we'll
I like to hyphenate. I like to umlaut things. That's what I like to do. I put little dots. So I put them on there and be like umlaut.
Yeah, everything's a little German beer for you.
I go bloop bloop. Hefeweizen. Kartoffel.
All right.
Cheers.
You know what? I gotta go, guys. Filoni's getting crazy. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Bye, guys.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.